another episode of Beyond the Locker Room. I'm your host Brian Tull, and today we're going to talk about Phil Jackson. He's coming home. It's official. He's going to be the next president, I believe, of basketball operations for the New York Knicks. I think that's going to be his head title. We'll see tomorrow what details come out of the press conference at Madison Square Gardens, but it's a big day in the NBA world, a big day in hoops. To see Phil, the Zen Master, back in the fold, or coming back home to New York, to Gotham. We'll see how this plays out, but it's big news around the league. It'll be interesting and curious to see how Phil Jackson adjusts to this new role. He's been looking for a front office position for a little while. You heard rumors that if Seattle got a team back, he want to go there. Even last year in my hometown, there was a slight discussion for a day or two about the Raptors at least asking him about being part of the Raptors organization. Obviously, that was going to be a long shot, but he had really good connection with Tim Leiweke, so anything's possible. So you never knew, but you knew he was going to get back in the league, but we weren't sure exactly where he would fall. But there's always a sense that you thought Phil Jackson wanted to kind of end his career in New York at some point, and now he seems to have that opportunity. So what do I think of this? So let me see. I'll break it down to 2 points. We'll start with what this does to Phil's legacy at this point. Obviously, there's going to be work to be done to kind of cement his legacy in New York. We don't know what it's going to be, but just the fact that he's signing this deal and coming into New York, what does this do to his legacy? And then the second part is just see what's next. What is going to be his first steps as kind of the new man in charge? So let's start with the legacy. I think right now you have to look at it as a really big deal from the standpoint of, I don't think there's ever been an executive or even a coach, maybe, I don't know, I don't think there's been a coach actually that has taken probably the three biggest media markets in North America, being Los Angeles, Chicago, which is the third largest, Los Angeles being the second, and now entering and coming to New York. So he's kind of working his way backwards. 3, 2, 1, coming back to New York to become the president of the team. I think if he's able to pull off his magic here as he's done in the other two spots, I mean, right now you have to put him down as far as from a management standpoint, the greatest. I mean, there's argument he might be the greatest coach of all time already between him and Red Auerbach. There might be a few Pat Riley fans saying, hey, but you gotta say, he's 1 or 1A in that category. But as far as overall executive and just a totality of a career, he's able to get our championship in New York with what he's done already. I mean, I think you gotta look at him, and it may surpass Jerry West, it may surpass Pat Riley, and even Red, it may even surpass his in the totality of things, when you see 3 different spots, 3 different markets, and if he's able to do it in 3 different places, the 3 biggest markets in this case, it's impressive. Love him or hate him, it's impressive. As far as I think I guess what's next for Phil. How do we look at this? I mean, everyone thinks in this case that he's going to bring the triangle to New York, which, based on his career, you would think that would be the case. The triangle has been a system that we don't know how well can it translate, when other people are using the triangle, or how well can it translate when the talent is not at the upper echelon. Can it really transfer? I mean, as a Mavericks fan, I know that, dealing with that in the past, incorporating the triangle when I'm trying to remember what's his name was the coach. His name slips my mind now, but Jim Clemens in this case was the coach. That was a disaster. Hasn't been tried in too many areas. Even Brian Shaw is not really using much triangle in Denver. He's still playing a pretty up-tempo game, not really trying a triangle. I don't think he even sniffed a triangle, sets or at all in Denver. So, he's pretty much told Ty Walker to give him the keys and let him run with it as he's done in the past. So it will be interesting to see how Phil, proceeds. I think that's going to be his biggest thing personally. I mean, personnel and all that, you need to know what type of system you're dealing with first, and then get the personnel that can match that system if you're looking to play that. If you're looking to play up-tempo, you want to get up-tempo players. You're looking to grind it out, you want players that can grind it out and be good in the post. So in his system, he's looking for spacing and guys that can move without the ball, and are not ball stoppers per se, and where this is leading to. It will be interesting to see what he does, because his first big decision, when it comes right down to it, is does he or does he not sign Carmelo Anthony during the offseason? And there's positives and negatives of signing and not signing him. I think I lean towards the positive more. I mean, there's a lot of people down on Carmelo. Oh, he's just a ball hog. He shoots a lot. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I mean, I think there's something that people have gotten to this mindset that being a scorer is a bad thing. Last time I checked, yeah, you can be a great scorers usually do pretty well if you got the right management and the right system around them. I mean, they're just great talents. Last time I checked, I didn't see anyone say anything's wrong with Michael Jordan as a scorer, or Kobe Bryant as a scorer, or even Iverson in this case, Allen Iverson, who went to a finals in this case with a team really that had no business even getting to the finals. If you look at the roster, if you get past Mutombo, so if you have a great scorer, you can do a lot of damage. And I think Carmelo's talent, he has a talent of a top 10 player. He doesn't always play to that potential, but he's not the type of guy in this case that if you have him in a series, and even if he's not rated as the best player in the series, I've never felt in this case that if Carmelo's in a series playing against whoever is supposed to be the best player, that he's gonna shrink to that moment. I think he does have, and that's good and that's also bad. I think he's even said that he gets up for games against kind of the top dogs in the league. That's all fine. What happens in a game when you're playing against Sacramento on Wednesday night? You need that type of professionalism right through. So I think that's where Carmelo's mindset has to change, or maybe Phil Jackson can help with that type of mindset. But I think it's better to keep him, because I'm always one to keep talent. You don't give away talent just for the sake of giving it away or letting it go because you think, well, he has warts on it. Every player has warts in some ways. You find best ways to fit around what they're, you find the best ways to work towards their strengths and try to reduce, things that work against them and to their weaknesses. So I think my mindset is, I think he will keep Carmelo. I think Phil Jackson will do so, and then try to find players that complement him, because I think in some ways he is going to try to incorporate some type of triangle feel to the team. May not be actually the triangle, but it might be some type of hybrid of it or something like that. I just think how you see teams are moving the ball around, that's the key. It's always been the key, moving and spacing. You see Miami, San Antonio, even Toronto this year, how well they moved the ball. They're crisp and moving around the perimeter and getting inside at times to keep defenses honest. I think he's going to talk to Carmelo about that, but also try to find guys that can help him, because the roster around him is brutal. I'm not sure what the Knicks management and brass were thinking, but the team itself needs a serious overhaul. I'm of the mindset you cut J.R. Smith if you can, because I'm not even sure you get anything for him, trading him for $5 or $6 million that he has. But he's the first person I would say you gotta remove, get out of there some way, somehow. And then step two, there's a termination clause, I believe. I'm not sure about the details of Stoudemire's contract, but that's something I'm sure Phil Jackson will look into. You might have to eat some of that, but you're New York. You can eat salary. Yeah, well, you get penalized with luxury tax. You know what? In the short term, it might be a bit of it might be some heartburn there, but overall, they'll be fine if they're able to bite the contract and then get some flexibility with the cap moving forward after that hit's taken. I think those are the two biggest. I would say two biggest, but also I would say the third major contract they got to figure out around is Bargnani, because I think at this point, Bargnani, I think the best thing you could do with Bargnani if he's on the roster, considering that Phil Jackson is going to be the president of the team of basketball operations, I think he might play Bargnani in a role similar to a Kukoc, where he's a sixth man, which I think he's kind of like that already in the Knicks, but where you just kind of limit to what he does. He just comes in and he just looks to shoot. That's it. Try to get him against weaker offensive players so you can hide him on the defensive end. I think he's looking for a coach that could do that. And I guess the biggest thing, obviously, moving on, what coach is going to be implementing this philosophy. You heard rumors of Steve Kerr, Tyronn Lue, all sorts of, kind of like, Phil accolades that you have here. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you went a college route. I would not be surprised if you went down that route just to get someone that's fresh, a fresh perspective. It's possible. But, it could be that. But I still think it's going to be someone that has the ability to implement the triangle offense if he wants to go down that route. So it could be one of his former assistants or former players. But as I said before, it wouldn't shock me if he was a little unconventional, which Phil Jackson tends to be. They tried someone like a college coach in New York. Last time they had one of those, it didn't work out so great. But there's been rumors of, Calipari's getting itchy down there in Kentucky. You never know. So we'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be exciting for the offseason. Another great offseason coming up. A lot of big names, and as far as free agents go, I think New York's going to be a big time player this year and next year. First, I think they're going to try to sign Carmelo, but I think you're going to start looking at, targeting Love, maybe Westbrook, some of these players, that could play. Everyone's talking about the big fish, Durant. I don't think New York's going after Durant. I doubt it. They may try because you got Dolan. He wants to be involved in it. All the big stories going on. But if anything, I think the other New York team actually might be the one that's kind of eyeing Durant more so, and they probably have a lot more flexibility to get around that. With Garnett and Pierce coming off the books pretty soon. I think next year. I think so. You can see Brooklyn, they have no problem breaking the luxury tax, so I wouldn't even be surprised if they went there. Considering Jay-Z's his, sports manager, I'm not sure what he is, guru, whatever he's supposed to be. And obviously his connections with the Brooklyn Nets, you never know. It might be the other New York team that might be the number one choice for Durant, when he becomes a free agent. But anyways, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to the press conference tomorrow. Sure, Dolan will have some interesting comments and saying some quotes, and Phil Jackson's always good for a quote. So we'll see how it plays out, and look forward to checking it out. And once again, subscribe below, and I would love to hear your comments about this or any other topics going on in the world of sports. Take care, and I'll talk to you next week.